Factories return, how the 2025 reshoring surge is reviving U.S. manufacturing. A major transformation is underway in the heart of America's economy. After decades of sending jobs and manufacturing overseas, U.S. companies are making a dramatic pivot, bringing production back home. Welcome to what experts are calling the 2025 reshoring boom. Good evening, I'm Sal Pier, and this is Vlog ND. The shift comes at a time of intense global uncertainty and sweeping domestic changes. At the center of the movement, a mix of politics, tariffs, tech, and the drive for a more stable and self-reliant America, Vlog ND wants to send a shout-out to our subscribers. To our non-subscribing friends, thank you. Your support is as valuable. If you can take a second to hit the subscribe button, that will be fantastic. It all accelerated in early April when President Donald Trump announced sweeping new tariffs, hitting over 60 countries with import duties some as high as 49%. Among the most impacted, Cambodia, Madagascar, Sri Lanka, and Vietnam. A bold 25% tariff now applies to all foreign-made automobiles. And more changes may be on the way. The message from Washington is clear: it's time to bring it back. But this isn't just about tariffs. The U.S. government has been laying groundwork for years. Landmark legislation like the CHIPS, the Science Act, and the Inflation Reduction Act has poured billions into domestic production, especially in clean energy and semiconductor manufacturing. Geopolitical tensions, supply chain breakdowns from the pandemic, and a looming trade war have made American companies think twice about relying on distant factories. The result? A growing wave of businesses turning back to American soil, seeking control, reliability, and resilience. The buzzword is reshoring, the practice of relocating manufacturing from overseas back to the U.S. It's different from offshoring, which sends jobs abroad, and nearshoring, which moves them to nearby countries like Mexico or Canada. But even nearshoring is losing its appeal, thanks to new tariffs tied to USMCA compliance. Automation and AI are also helping close the cost gap. Modern factories now rely more on robotics and data-driven systems, reducing dependency on large workforces and boosting efficiency. But challenges remain. Reshoring isn't as simple as flipping a switch. Companies face labor shortages, high operational costs, and the daunting task of building new supply chains from the ground up. One of the biggest questions: who's going to do the work? The U.S. faces a labor gap, especially in skilled trades and manufacturing. Investing in apprenticeships and recruiting talent will be key. And the price tag? Building new facilities, installing tech, and navigating regulations takes time and a lot of money. But the payoff could be a more sustainable, self-reliant economy. So, what does this mean for everyday Americans? More jobs, better quality control, and potentially a greener supply chain, thanks to reduced overseas shipping. And for consumers who value made in the USA, this is your moment. The reshoring boom is more than a trend, it's a turning point. As the global landscape shifts, America is reimagining its industrial future one factory at a time. Stay with Vlog ND for more in-depth coverage on how this manufacturing comeback could reshape communities across the nation. There is a potential obstacle to the reshoring movement, though. It's the so-called tariff war. President Trump's tariff is helping America find its manufacturing upper hand again, but it's not without a fight. China cuts exports of vital rare earth minerals. As trade war with U.S. intensifies, this is Vlog ND, where facts meet focus. Tensions between the United States and China are escalating sharply as the trade war takes a new and critical turn. At the center of it all? Rare earth minerals, those unsung heroes behind your smartphones, electric vehicles, and even military defense systems. In a strategic move that has sent shockwaves through global supply chains, China has slashed exports of rare earth elements, materials that power everything from MRI scanners to fighter jets. This comes just days after President Trump launched a new national security probe into critical mineral imports, a signal that more tariffs could be on the way. Now, while rare earths aren't truly rare in nature, their processing is concentrated overwhelmingly in one place: China. Currently, nearly 70% of the U.S.'s rare earth imports come from Beijing, and even when rare earths are mined elsewhere, the midstream processing, what turns raw materials into usable components, still happens in China. In fact, for certain heavy rare earths, 100% of the separation and refinement occurs there. The Chinese government's move introduces new licensing rules for export, effectively pausing shipments and tightening control over who gets what and how much. Analysts say this gives Beijing powerful leverage. And for the US, which lacks sufficient processing infrastructure at home, this has exposed a gaping vulnerability in both its defense readiness and technological resilience. Meanwhile, as Chinese President Xi Jinping tours Southeast Asia, he's painting a different picture, one of regional partnership and connectivity. In Vietnam, he was welcomed with grand ceremony, positioning China as a builder of bridges, not walls. But back at home, his administration is clearly playing hardball. In response, Washington is racing to diversify. The Pentagon has poured over $400 million into rare earth projects under the Defense Production Act. Plans are underway to ramp up domestic mining and processing and to partner with countries like South Africa and Brazil. But experts warn, even with full investment, these U.S. facilities won't come online until 2027, and even then, they'll only meet a small fraction of demand. As Gracelyn Bhaskaran, director of the Critical Minerals Security Program, explained in a recent interview, geology is where geology is. The U.S. holds just 1.5% of the world's known rare earth reserves, meaning foreign policy will be just as crucial as domestic infrastructure in securing long-term supply. What's at stake here isn't just economic competitiveness, it's national security, technological innovation, and global influence. Defense has already named rare earths a strategic vulnerability, and the race is now on to build a resilient mine-to-magnet supply chain at home. Until then, the U.S. remains tightly entangled in China's grip on these vital minerals, and the geopolitical game of minerals and machines marches on. Stay tuned to Vlog ND for more updates as this story develops. I'm Sal Pier. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next videos, and don't forget to like and share the videos. We appreciate your support so much.